What's up, everybody? Welcome to Waypoints Media Club, the one-stop shop for discussions on all things movies, video games, and TV shows, but never books. Today, we are going to be discussing Marvel's What If Episode 8. Yes. What If Ultron Had Won? Joining me today is Brett Jamerson.
Hey, everybody.
And Leerin Jass.
Hi.
All right, guys. I know we haven't been too hot on What If so far, but what are our general thoughts on today's episode?
You want to start?
Sure. I have a lot of questions, is what this episode left me with. I'm like, okay, my first one being, I have no fucking idea how they're going to wrap this up in 30 minutes. And either next week's episode is going to be like a movie length, or we're going to have a crazy cliffhanger, because I don't know how a lot of the pieces and scenes that have been in trailers that we haven't seen yet are all going to tie into this last episode if it's only 30 minutes long. I like that they're starting to establish the Watchers more. And like what the Watchers are, and that like weird, in the comics it's called the blue area of the moon, but in the show it's that weird like where it's kind of like he's looking through a kaleidoscope at like a bunch of different.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Remember in the Fairly Odd Parents episode, Channel Chasers?
Yeah, I had a feeling this is where you were going.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, and you kind of just see everything. Yeah.
I like that we're establishing that. I don't know if I loved the fact that we basically established if I threw Jordan hard enough at one thing, I could knock him into another dimension. I didn't like that they were going straight through dimensions. I was like, all right, we're getting a little I mean,
you can't throw me that hard, but Ultron with all the Infinity Stones and a Watcher could. They have that ability.
I would imagine Doctor Strange could if he really, really wanted to.
Yeah. That's going to be my new thirst tweet, is punch me through the multiverse, daddy.
I also have a lot of questions. If I feel like they're setting us up for the trial of, I don't remember how to say his name ever. It's Uatu.
Uatu.
The Watcher. Uatu. Thank you. I'm wondering if we're gearing up for the trial of Uatu, because in the comics he like does a bunch of shit he's not supposed to. Like he breaks his oath the first time and then does it all the fucking time. But the Fantastic Four are really involved in that story, so I don't know how that would even happen yet. Like, I feel like we're a long way off from getting the characters that
would need to be in that
part
adaptation.
Of that trial.
Yeah.
I did not like this. I don't like Ultron being in Vision's body was like not computing with my brain.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Where like I'm like, where's the British voice?
And then like the red eye, like it just like was not. I was happier when he had the big helmet down.
Yeah, it also...
I was like, okay, this can, like, my brain can process this.
It also upset me they didn't get James Spader back.
Yeah.
Listen, James Spader is probably an expensive guy.
I know, but Disney has more money than God.
Yeah, but we were in COVID. But yeah, those are my general thoughts on the episode.
Yeah. What about you, Brett?
I liked it right before we started recording. You were saying it was your favorite or second favorite behind episode 4.
No, I said it's like I have now liked this episode as much as I've liked the first 4. Because since episode 4, I've kind of been like, Like now in the first 4 episodes, I'm not there. I don't love them, but they're cool. They were fun. This one, I'm like, all right, now I'm back into this. Like,
yeah, I think this is definitely one of my favorite episodes so far, just because of one, the story itself, but also because it seems like it's starting to tie all of the loose threads from the first 8 episodes, and it seems like we're gonna head to like was it the multiversal Avengers or whatever the name is for that group. And yeah, like, you know, I'm always a fan of like the one last mission trope with Clint and Natasha, and you know, just the whole angle of them not being powered but still like trying to do good was really cool. That hero shot, like kind of the Thor Ragnarok-esque with Clint, was awesome. the the split, the reverse of the Endgame.
Yeah, that parallel.
Plant was cool.
Like, guys, this doesn't make up for it. They played
No,
that.
no, no, no.
It's like, this does not make up for you guys killing her in Endgame. I get what you're doing here, but it does not make up for it.
Yeah. We got more Zola. I didn't expect that. That was cool. We got some Red Guardian homages. Like, man, I like this a lot. And we've gotten a lot of Captain Marvel in this What If series, and so
yeah, we have.
Her movie isn't my favorite, and so the fact that we're getting just more of her character just in any little tidbits we can, I appreciate. And so yeah, I really like this episode. What Infinity Vision, Perfect Vision, or Perfect Ultron? I don't know what his official title is in this iteration, but man, he just cut Thanos.
I've just been calling him Ultron Vision.
Okay, really quick. I have okay. I was confused on this, that he just cut Thanos in half like that. Is it that he can do that because he's also Ultron? Or is that just the Mind Stone and nobody during Endgame knew he could do that?
So...
Because Thanos loves to wax poetic. If that is a power Vision had, Endgame would have been 5 minutes long.
So that's what people on the subreddit were kind of saying. They were like, it probably was that Vision knew about the bigger plan and the bigger mission at hand. Ultron is very simple. Anything that's flesh cannot survive. So he sees Thanos right before he starts monologuing, because he's fucking Thanos. He just, boom.
Yeah.
I think it's just the Mind Stone that did that. Whether or not Vision knew that, I don't know. But I think it's more in Ultron's character to just kind of cut someone down the middle.
Also with that, too, there's two things. Is one, Vision in Infinity War was wounded from Corvus Glaive's sword, that it has unique properties that stops healing and stuff like that. And then two, because the nature of these episodes only being 25 minutes or whatever, they probably were like, and Thanos comes to confront Earth or Vision, or Earth or Ultron, and Ultron wins, and that's just how they showed it really quick to keep the story going. So
yeah,
it could have been those two things factoring in.
I have one argument to Jordan's point.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that Vision might not want to just like murk a dude, but if you could do that with the Mind Stone, just cut his hand off.
Oh, I'm saying
you don't even have to kill him. Just cut his hand off.
I mean, I don't even know if Vision knew he could do that.
That's my
but
thing.
There's also like 4 other characters that could have cut. Something that annoys me about Infinity War is that we see Wong literally chop a guy's hand off in the first 10 minutes with a portal.
Oh, they yada why they can't get that gauntlet off, and it has to be 2 movies real hard, and you just kind of have to accept it.
Yeah, no, and it's fine. Like, I get it. I don't want a 10-minute movie, but...
They yada the shit out of that. I was just curious about that. I was like, is this an Ultron thing? Or like, what the fuck is this? I just told it.
That's fine. When the Watcher was in you said the blue room?
No, they call it the blue side of the moon.
The blue side of the moon, my bad.
Because he only sees our Earth and all of the things that can happen on our Earth, like, and a couple of the planets surrounding. And so he's stationed on the moon.
Gotcha.
On the blue side of the moon.
So when he was looking kind of at all the multiverses, and there was that flash where where that green kind of went through it, I went, oh, this is when Sylvie killed Immortus. And that's what caused the multiverse to kind of have that green thing go through it, and that's why it became so much weaker. Because it was at that moment that Ultron Vision was able to kind of hear the Watcher. Yes, Leon from Waypoint.
No.
No?
No, because you have to remember, all of this takes place post-Loki, because before this there was no multiverse. Before Loki there was no multiverse. Well,
there was always the multiverse, technically.
Not just the way it is now, though, is what they've established in the MCU. If the timeline's constantly being pruned by the TVA, there would be no multiverse before
I think one of the theories with that was that the sacred timeline was simply isolated, and that's why at the end of Loki it starts branching out and connecting to other like timelines, maybe. I don't know.
I realize recording Marvel School for Dummies, they did a really shitty job explaining what the multiverse is. But also, at the end of the day, like, I don't think the Watcher. It was flashing so many different colors so many times. I think it just looked cool.
Yeah, but there was a moment the first time a color kind of ran through it. It was a greenish black.
I just think that it looked cool.
Maybe.
And, like, that's a good color to put around Ultron and the Watcher because of the colors they are. I hate the Watcher's design. I hate it in the comics too, but I hate it. I hate it so much.
You don't like that they have big heads?
I don't know why. It deeply upsets me, and I don't know why. It makes me his head, and in the comics it does too. But for some reason, his head.
It's because he's so smart.
Very uncomfortable. No, it's like the shape of it, where it's like almost a Squidward shape, but not all the way. It reminds me of the creepy little monsters from the Proud Family movie, and like I can't get past.
Oh, see, to me it kind of looks more like a baby's head, where it's very pronounced.
That's even worse.
It's arguably worse than Squidward, and baby might be generous. It's kind of more of a fetus head.
It's just like my brain just can't look at. I hate it. I don't know why. It just like really upsets me.
I think Uatu is beautiful.
I love his character. I want to see more of him, and I love Jeffrey Wright. His head just freaks me out.
All bodies are beautiful, okay? No matter how big your head is.
How about when he wouldn't stop talking when Ultron was sniffing him out, dude?
I know.
Shut up, bro.
Yeah, it's like just someone said, "Yo, you're the Watcher, not the speaker. Shut up."
But,
dude, go ahead, Brett.
It was so fascinating in that moment of the episode because it almost, and obviously he just perceives time differently than like we do, and so like he's like what's the word? He's like narrating the story, but also like living it simultaneously because he's like, and Ultron, completed his purpose, and now he's like, what the hell do I do? And then he hears a voice, and oh shit! It's like, I think he literally doesn't. The Watcher literally said like, "Oh shit" or something.
He said, "What the hell?"
He says, "What the hell?" Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah. And like, so that was like a cool like little tidbit just in terms of like how the Watcher perceives the multiverse in time and what other characters outside of like the timeline would see that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, because this isn't always my thing with him, is being a Watcher sucks. Because he can't not feel. He's not like I feel like the Celestials don't feel, and the other Watchers don't really feel anything. He watches and feels emotion and feels sorrow for the lives lost and like all of that stuff, and he's just chilling in this, and he can't do anything because if he does something, he'll be destroyed, and like.
Yeah.
It gets into this really weird place.
But
where it's just like, I'm like, this is sad.
It sounds like now he is about to intervene because it's so much bigger, where it's like it's not just one universe that's at stake, it's the entire multiverse. And he's making the decision to be like, this is too big.
He's breaking his oath. He's going to get, that's why I'm saying I feel like they're leading up to the trial, is because the Watchers don't give a shit. Like, they don't care. Or they're not supposed to. That's not what they're there for. So, he breaks his oath all the time. Because he breaks his oath to do something to save the multiverse. He breaks his oath for Reed Richards at one point.
Really? You're gonna that's what did Reed Richards do?
It's mostly him in the Fantastic Four.
Huh.
I don't remember what Reed Richards did, but like
I'm just saying, if I'm gonna get fired from my job, I'm not doing it for Reed Richards.
The Watcher is his lawyer at one point. When the Shahar, which is the Shahar Empire, which is situated between the Skrull and Kree empires, prosecute Mr. Fantastic for saving Galactus' life. Uatu serves as his lawyer and receives help from Odin, Eternity, and even Galactus himself to explain that Galactus is part of the universe's balance. And that's like a whole comic run. Like a mini series.
Wild.
Yeah.
So did anybody think when they were fighting on Xandar and that first blast popped up, you thought it was like Nova or did you immediately think Captain Marvel?
I feel like they didn't give us a chance to think. It was just like, oh, she's here.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I've noticed some. Oh, go ahead, Liren.
Everything was gold in that scene, so I didn't really know what was going on. Like all the little explosions were like an orangey yellow, her powers were yellow, and then like something else that was happening. Like there was just a lot of yellow in that scene, and I didn't know what was what.
Yeah. I've noticed, like, especially in What If, because I brought up Captain Marvel, like, just seeing her more in different scenarios is really cool. But she's, like, we all know she's super powerful, and, like, she's one of the most powerful beings, but, like, in all of her appearances, she's um, never really won.
I yelled about this last week.
Did
I
you?
went on a full rant about this, that
Yeah.
episode bugged the shit out of me because, like, even in the comics, she could fucking down Thor in a second, and like I
Yeah.
understand that she was afraid of blowing up because she would cause like
Yeah.
She literally blew up that entire solar system.
Yeah.
In this one, it's way different though, because it's like he has all the stones at this point. He's not holding back anything, and then it's Vision inside Ultron's body. Like, I could see why this one wasn't
inside Vision's body.
Well, I meant Vision, the body that
Inside Vision's body, yes.
Yeah.
What that would be.
No, but
Vision's
then he has
not there. There is no Vision.
I meant like the body that we recognize as Vision inside that suit of armor that looks like what we recognize as Ultron. Is what I meant by that.
I also didn't understand the suit of armor, but that's an entirely separate conversation. I just didn't understand the need for it. But yeah, I just also assumed that he wanted to use her.
Yeah, maybe.
She is in herself also like a nuclear bomb. If you wanted to really fuck up an area, like if you could find a way, which I feel like using the stones would be the only way, because she kind of is a stone, you would have, like, you could use her, destroy her at the same time and cause like
that much damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the most part, her power scaling's been accurate because, like, in Endgame, she takes a punch from Thanos, no problem. But the second he uses a stone, she, gets blown back. And so now, him using all the stones at once, it made sense, I felt.
Yeah. Did we see him use... We saw him use the Reality Stone. We saw him use the Space Stone.
We kind of saw him use everything.
Did we see him use the Soul Stone?
Which color is the Soul Stone?
Orange.
I don't know.
I mean, I think
he'd need it because his little baby things aren't alive.
Well, he didn't get any of the stones himself. Thanos basically delivered them to him.
I know, but like the only people he really operates with are like his little guys.
Yeah.
None of them really have souls. Like he's got all of them. He doesn't really need to use that one individually. So I don't know if we saw him use that one individually.
I think every stone has the ability just to fire off a blast, though, because at one point, like, out of his chest, he shoots out a giant green beam, and like, what would he be blasting the time stone for? I just think they can all blast energy.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, in Infinity War, Thanos shoots like the beam.
Yeah, but that's when he has most of them. So.
Right. I did like, and so at the end when the Watcher like kind of dips and goes to Strange Supreme's like pocket universe, and he's like I need your help. Like it made me think, like I wonder how long Strange Supreme was in that pocket universe for, because at the end of episode 4, like, and that was the thing with episode 4 was like, oh yeah, because I wasn't on that episode, but like Strange Supreme wasn't necessarily evil per se, but he was doing wrong things, and so, but still at the end of that episode, he still like was in a very dark place, obviously, with him still failing to bring back Christine, the whole universe imploding on itself. But then like from that point to what we get now, where he's like cracking jokes and kind of smart, I mean, obviously that's the Strange character, but the fact that he got back to that point,
he's had time to think.
yeah, like he's had time to think, and yeah, that's like one of the reasons why I was so excited about this episode was at the end. I'm like, okay, cool, like some strange supreme redemption, and then we'll get the rest of the gang together to take on uh, Perfect Ultron.
Yeah, I know that there's the one shot in the trailers of Strange talking to Captain Carter, so I think he's going to be the one to round up these multiversal Avengers. I've also heard a rumor that Captain Carter might make an appearance in Multiverse of Madness, so to see how much canon this show will actually become in terms of actually hitting the live action stuff, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
wonder.
believe nothing on the internet anymore.
Well, I think because I think one of the criticisms of the show is like, what is the purpose of this? Because, and obviously the show is unique on its own right compared to any other MCU property, just because of the nature of What If. But
Mhm.
every MCU show has had some purpose, big or small, it just depends. And so seeing this at the end of, or just seeing this episode and seeing the end of it kind of start connecting the threads, and obviously season or episode 9 will probably further bring that into mainline story content. And also we brought this up too, but like there is a season 2, so a lot of these narrative threads won't get finished uh in terms of the individual what if stories. But I do think because there is that gap between season 1 and 2, and like you said, Jordan, Multiverse of Madness, like I do think we might, I could see some threads being connected with the whole multiversal. I don't want to say war, but
The multiverse kind of collapsing and them having to deal with that.
Right. Yeah. It wouldn't shock me to see Captain Carter or multiversal versions of existing characters show up.
I mean, that's the thing is like Multiverse of Madness. We really could see whoever the fuck they want.
Technically, we could see Batman.
Some
Eric Bana's Hulk.
Not exactly.
I mean,
not exactly.
Copyright issues will prevent that. I'm just saying on a technical level.
Technically, they'd have to be another level out because it's DC and Marvel canon that there are two brothers that created the universe, and one rules over the DC universe and one rules over the Marvel universe. And they sometimes do make them cross, but it's like bigger than one universe individually.
Yeah.
It would be like rather than you jumping into like another Earth timeline, it'd be like you jumping into an alternate timeline on Mars. Like it's a whole other another big jump that you have to make first. But I'm a nerd and just enjoy that.
Yeah.
I am, like I said, interested to see how they tie this up. And like Multiverse of Madness, like, yeah, anyone can show up. We know we're getting America Chavez. And I think that's all we know is that Loki, Wanda, Doctor Strange, and America Chavez, and the bad guy from the end of the first movie, and Wong are the only people we know are in it. And I think Disney, before they start introducing Fox characters, is trying to
find a way to deal with it.
Pull their shit together. Oh, I meant like all their stuff that's established. They're trying to like bring it all together, what they're going to pull from, like that they're basically saying yes, the Marvel shows on Netflix are complete canon and like and those characters lived through what you saw in the MCU, with this probably very accurate rumor that when Wilson Fisk is going to be back in Hawkeye.
I mean, yeah,
especially because that ties directly into Echo's origin story, so he kind of has to be there.
And he's been Vincent DeFornio
has been liking.
He's been liking tweets that are talking about that.
Yeah. There's a rumor that he's in 2 episodes at the end, which would make sense because Echo's father is in the show, and she becomes Fisk's adopted daughter when he dies at the hands of like, I think Hawkeye.
Yeah, and then isn't Echo getting her own show after Hawkeye?
Yes.
Yeah,
Echo is getting her own show.
I'm pretty sure he's coming back.
Yeah.
Because that's also another one of those things where like they couldn't cast anyone else for that role. I don't think they could find anyone else.
I think they could, but it's easier to just be like, hey, those shows where you don't really know where they're floating in all of this.
Yeah.
They're here. Those characters lived through those things. The same things that you've seen happen. That like Matt Murdock lived through Infinity War and Endgame, which I just realized for him must have been terrifying.
Yeah, because he's like, why is everyone screaming?
See what's happening? That's horrifying.
I mean, that's also assuming he didn't get snapped.
That's also terrifying.
Fair.
Because at least for people getting snapped, they could see others getting snapped, like, around them. So, like, there was a comprehension that something was happening, and this is happening to people, even if you weren't one of the superheroes. But if you're just a blind guy, and all of a sudden you can't feel part of your body, and then you're just like, bring Daredevil back, because I want to see them deal with the whole thing with the snap and Matt Murdock's intense Christianity. Catholicism. Not even just Christianity, Catholicism. Riddle me this, Disney. This is what I need. Is show me how you're gonna marry those two things.
Is that a big part of the show?
Bro, did you not watch Daredevil?
Catholicism? Yeah.
Bro, I watched half of season 1 and I couldn't do it, man.
Bro.
I love the character. I love a lot of the comics. Like it was just like a lot of like dark hallways and up close camera shots of people whispering.
Yes. It was a very quiet show. If
they come back in the MCU, I'll watch it because then it matters. But until then, who knows? Can we talk about Hawkeye's sweet cloak cape?
Yeah.
And kind of like Winter Soldier-y arm.
Yeah. Okay. The Winter Soldier-y arm. I have a lot of questions about.
Okay. Question. So Natasha and Clint are clearly fighting to defeat Ultron, but they're like, if it was just them two, it wouldn't really matter, just in terms of like propagating more humans on the planet and everything, right?
Right,
so,
now
like,
you're on one wavelength here.
So like, I was watching this, so I'm like, how many humans are alive at this point? Like 1,000 maybe? Like, you know, like it has to be a low number because they're not just all like walking around.
Yeah.
But it's got to be like very, very little.
Because my thing is, if you're and maybe this is dark, if you launch that many nukes, everyone's gone. Everyone's obliterated.
If
It
not
might be
instantly,
instantaneously.
radiation poisoning.
Exactly. Like everybody, and the second they landed the plane, like, it would probably be a couple of months, but like they would die from just everything's poisoned with radiation at this point and with nuclear waste.
And nuclear winter on top of that.
And then on top of that, they're in a nuclear winter. That if you're the only two left, why are you trying this hard?
Yeah.
That's why there's got to be...
Because what's going to happen? You kill Ultron and then, cool, what now?
Yeah.
I guess we just vibe. Like, I don't know.
We just vibe for the next 30 years without any entertainment?
Yeah, I don't know. Can we talk about Carol's line about the Terminator and how there doesn't need to be a sequel to Terminator 1? Because when did she like just leave?
Captain Marvel takes place in 95?
Yeah,
Okay,
and it was 10 years before that she got picked up by the Kree? 5 years, 10 years, 5 years.
Yeah. So in 1990, when did Terminator 2 come out?
Like 91 or 2. It was like early.
Why did I think that came out in the late 80s?
Because you always think everything came out in the late
80s. I'm pretty sure Terminator 1 was 88, and then Terminator 2 was like 91, 92, right?
Yeah, see, I thought Terminator 2... I thought Terminator 1 was sooner than that, and that Terminator 2 was still in the 80s.
No.
Also, I don't think everything came out of the 80s. I always think Cheers was from the 70s.
Yes, that is true. Jordan and I, like, once a week, I will be talking to him about something, and he'll be like, that came out then? I'm like, yes, not everything came out in the 90s or the 80s. She went down in the fuck.
I don't think what the fuck's a year.
I think it's 10 years because the kid is large.
Yeah. She's literally like
Monica's like a full-grown like person.
Was Maria pregnant when Carol left? Okay. And yeah, she's like...
Not to Carol's knowledge,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
She was like 8 or 9 probably in that movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure that she went down in 85.
Yeah, so then she never would have known that there's a Terminator sequel. And then many, many more.
Can we talk about there's a universe in which we elect Steve Rogers president? Because I hate that.
Are you surprised though?
That's personal though. He would make a great president, and you know it.
I don't like making anyone leader of anything who is in theory immortal and can't die. Because if that person gets corrupted, we're in trouble.
Term limits. There's term limits.
That man can kill people with one punch. Like,
I was gonna say, like, to be fair,
not-
if Trump couldn't take down term limits.
He's not indestructible.
that is not a fair comparison, Jordan.
You're right, one of them's smart.
He's still a man.
Yeah, but like can live to be we don't even know how old.
So, okay, like if we're going into that right at the end of Endgame, he looks pretty old.
I mean, he was still
But
young
Joe
Steve
Biden.
Rogers in this universe.
But he was what? So he got woken up in 2011 or 2012
2011.
in the timeline, and
In
so
2011.
and then he lived for what 14 years. 2025 is when Endgame takes place,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and so I can't remember how old he is.
They said he's 108 at the end of Endgame.
Is he okay? That's what 70 years. So he's like 38 in Endgame.
Well, yeah, the whole thing with Steve that's weird is that his physical body's age is not how old he actually is from when he was born, and then on top of that, you add in what the serum does to aging. So he's got like 3 different ages if you want to get technical about it.
Right. I did like that because I haven't read the comic, but I looked it up after the cover of that comic issue when Steve does run for president. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, I always like when comics get kind of crazy.
Stephen Colbert ran for president in the Marvel Universe.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a whole comic run. Spider-Man has to save him.
Did he win?
I don't think so.
Damn. So how do we think this is gonna get wrapped up in the next episode? Do we think it's just gonna be get the gang together and they beat Perfect Ultron, or is it gonna be that battle gonna be left unresolved leading into season 2?
I think we're
I
going to
have
get...
no idea.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have no idea because we still need to meet Gamora, daughter of Thanos, at some fucking point, and we're missing an episode from this season, so I'm real concerned about next week.
I think that next week will end... Like, I don't think we're going to end this season with Ultron Vision not being defeated.
I think if that's the plan, due to already how people have been talking about this show, they're going to shoot the show in the foot.
Exactly. And so I get that Marvel would probably just put out the second season regardless, especially because they've already started on those episodes. So there's also probably contractual obligations, but I want to see the show get better. Like, you know, when I'm saying like, oh, like I want everything Marvel to always be good. I mean, I want everything always to be good. But
have you guys watched Visions, Star Wars Visions?
I'm not done yet.
no, I haven't yet.
I'm not-
There's 3 episodes.
I'm not either, but I've only seen the first 5, and there's 9, I think, too.
Mhm.
There's 9 as well. And so just based off of the first 5, and I won't get into any spoilers, but the response to that show and how insanely positive it's been, I think is because they're playing so fast and loose with like the canon
With the rules, yeah.
and
Well,
the
yeah, because
rules.
it's not canon, right?
Yeah, like there's certain episodes where it's like, oh, here's this character showing up, which you've probably seen some.
Yeah, like in the second episode.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, but when is it? But they don't really answer that, so it's not like this is right after Luke Skywalker saved Darth Vader.
Is this the first time Disney's put out Star Wars content that isn't canon? Because I remember
Disney's put out.
Yeah, because
Technically, yeah.
I remember when they bought the franchise, they decided to say only the movies are canon, and anything we put forward now, we're saying that's canon. And I think that's what's put them in a lot of holes, is that everything has to fit into this timeline. This just became a Star Wars show.
They've like so, yes, but they've technically reprinted old Legends books, but they
Yeah.
But those are Legends.
Yeah, they said
Yeah.
Legend. They've republished like old Star Wars games.
What Disney is doing is there was so much fucking Star Wars lore.
Oh, no,
that
yeah.
They couldn't have come in and been like, all of this is canon. So they very much took the movies and went, this is all that's canon right now, and are reintroducing
Oh
it.
no, I'm not saying I disagree with what they did.
You know,
I have just thought that choosing to make everything canon since then has been, has put them in some holes. But I get why they erased the canon when they bought the franchise.
There's also, I know that you haven't watched any of Visions, Jordan, a lot of shit that people would be either mad that we don't see later on or mad that this is now canon. So I don't think making
I've seen the Umbrella.
Visions canon I don't think making Visions canon would have been good for
Anyone.
Because Visions is everything I wanted What If to be. Side stories that I don't need to worry about how they connect to the normal shit, and it's just us getting fucking weird.
But
Just being weird.
But isn't the beauty of the MCU is that everything quote unquote matters? It's like you watch Incredible Hulk and you're like, okay, this is like really mid, and then 20 years later it's like, oh shit, they made a connection to that movie and now I care about it a little bit more.
No, don't make me care about this terrible fucking movie with Ed Harris.
With who?
Did I say Ed Harris?
You
Ed
did.
Norton.
You said Ed Harris.
See, that's what I want.
Ed Harris.
Give me Old Man Bruce with Ed Harris.
Is he still alive?
Yeah?
Oh, okay.
Trust me, my father would be crushed if Ed Harris died. He loves him. Yeah, I don't know. With What If, I hate having to I feel like we're leading a lot up to Multiverse of Madness, which has me concerned that after Multiverse of Madness, we're going to be back in the like, okay, but what now thing.
I don't think they're gonna resolve that arc and that soon.
I think, given the fact that Kang is showing up in Ant-Man 3, it's safe to assume that Multiverse of Madness will not completely clean up the multiverse.
I have to text Victoria and tell her not to listen to this episode until after we record Marvel School for Dummies.
Smart.
She doesn't know that she just finished watching Loki, and she doesn't know that Jonathan Myers was cast as Kang and it's going to be in Ant-Man 3. I've kept that from her because I wanted her to be able to watch the show without that knowledge.
And being like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, and Jordan almost ruined it like 2 weeks ago. Jordan almost fucked it up.
Oops.
Because he didn't realize she didn't know.
How has she not seen it on the internet?
She's kind of off Twitter because she didn't like what the kind of group she was part of had become on Twitter, and she just felt it was really negative, so she doesn't really go on social media. So now we're just like...
Smart.
But at some point she will listen to this. So hi, Victoria.
Yeah, she listens to all of our shows. Hi.
And anyone else
I just have to tell her not to.
Anyone else listening to this, the show Leon's referencing, Marvel School for Dummies, is a show that me and her do with Victoria, where we have been teaching her and walking her through the entire MCU because she's watched it for the first time this year. And we are her professors, hence the name Marvel School for Dummies.
Yes. But yeah, this episode's fine. I have no idea how they're gonna fucking wrap this up.
I hope next week's episode's long.
I mean, okay, so, and because we can wrap up here real quick, because I don't want to like keep this going forever. But like, so you like how how Visions is like disconnected from like the main Star Wars story compared to MCU. But like me, I love the interconnectedness, and it's okay. Like everyone kind of does like their own fun rankings of movie of like the MCU and stuff, and it's like it's okay if something's like the 25th best thing out of the 30 properties. Like I brought up Captain Marvel. Like I like that movie. I have a fun time anytime I watch it, but it's like it's near the bottom of the list for me. So sometimes everything's not going to be the best. Of any ongoing series or property, right? Like
Unless next week's episode is fucking phenomenal, I think that I found something that will knock that my list won't the end won't just be Captain America 1, Captain America 2, Captain America 3. Like I think that's what's gonna be what disrupts that. Because I think I dislike this more than I dislike Civil War.
Please tell me you're joking about that.
No, I don't really like the Captain America movies. They're just not.
Brett, I thought we've gotten into this before.
I don't know if Brett's been here for it.
I know she holds disdain for Steve and everything he stands for. But I didn't know you ranked all 3 of those movies that low.
To be fair, like The Incredible Hulk was not in this ranking.
Yes, The Incredible Hulk isn't in this list. Because if so, that would be at the very, very bottom. I've never finished that movie. I really don't like it. I don't know. I like everything else better than I like the Captain America trilogy. Because I love Kenneth Branagh, so I'm biased to the Thor movies. And I love the Thor comics, so I'm very biased to the Thor movies.
Yeah.
So.
But MCU rankings are a conversation for another day. Guys, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited for more Strange Supreme. I really like that interpretation of the character, so I'm excited to see more of that next week and maybe beyond.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. And like for me, this show, I do like how it's still MCU and it still will probably connect in the overall story, but I've also taken a lot of these episodes just one-offs too. I don't know like how that works like in my own brain, but like I watch T'Challa as Star-Lord and I walk away, I'm like, cool, that's like a cool interpretation of the character and that setting in the Marvel universe, and beyond that, whatever happens. So I've kind of been able to segment it and keep it connected. So I've had a fun time watching it, and every 25 minutes a week. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it, where it's like I can enjoy the time when it's put in front of me, but it's not what I expected it to be and I'm not saying that everything should be what people make it out to be in their head, but I was hoping for this to be like weirder and really flesh out these ideas more. I do think it is good that these episodes can kind of other than I guess the last 2, but like they can each stand on their own if you kind of like that idea and that what if, and if the only thing that ends up connecting to the grander MCU is Captain Carter, then I think that's that's good. That's not like everything's being pushed in.
Oh yeah, I want to say one thing too is like if Strange Supreme shows up in Doctor Strange too, like I would be all for that. So I don't know all about it.
I am for anything with Doctor Strange. I love him. They got their work cut out for them. Is all I'm gonna say. And next week we'll probably decide if I watch the second season. Because I was very excited for this show. I was so excited for this show, and I haven't liked it.
Yeah.
And it's not even that last week's I actively disliked, but I liked the T'Challa episode. I like Captain Carter. Everything else is just like, it's fine. Like, okay.
And we can't forget too, like, season 2 is currently in production, and they are probably taking notes from how season 1 is being received. So, season 2 could be wildly different with just how they structure whatever story they're trying to tell. So that's like one positive if you're not as hot on the show as other people, like it still could be like just room for improvement. I mean, real quick, Lyran, so I brought up earlier how like the beauty of the MCU is like Thor Dark World comes out and it's like it's okay, whatever, and then like they kind of bring it back and give it some juice. What 6 years later or whatever it was. So like, has that ever happened to you in the MCU like already with existing movies and stories, and then they bring back a character or a plot beat or references to less favorite Marvel movies and make you value those a little bit higher than before?
I think Thor: The Dark World, because I love Thor Ragnarok and I love Thor, but I never really liked Thor: The Dark World. I don't like the way it's visually designed, which sounds dumb, but when they're on that planet that is just all brown, it's really boring to look at, and it bugs me. And I get what he was going for with color theory, but like I don't like it. But anyways, the more they've expanded on it and where they're going with Thor has made me like the movie more than I used to. Like I remember before Endgame, Jordan and I tried to watch it and we talked the whole time and then realized the movie was over.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like one of those take it or leave it movies now, and now I enjoy
Well, it was, we were gonna rewatch Cap 1 and 2 and then Thor 1 and 2, and I feel it's Thor 1 we talked through. Then we put on Cap 2 and it was late. We were like, so do you want to watch Dark World? And we were like, nah, it won't matter.
Oh yes, actually that's what.
And then halfway through Endgame, they're like, so we need to go. I was like, oh fuck, we watched the wrong sequel.
Back to Thor 2. Well, because why we had to watch Captain America was I hadn't seen them since I watched them in theater, or since I saw Captain America on FX was the first time I ever watched it, and then since I saw Winter Soldier in theaters was the last time I had ever seen them before Endgame. I don't know. I like buddy movies a lot.
But
Also suck, and I'm a bitch for DC. And if I have to pick one, like if I'm sitting down just to watch a superhero movie, realistically, I'll pick DC first. So me not having seen them for specifically the Nolan Batman movies, I am absolute trash.
She doesn't mean the DCEU. She means DC movies.
No. I mean like the DC animated universe and like the Nolan trilogy.
Oh, okay.
It's like what I mean.
I was like.
No, I love the DC animated universe. It's like one of my favorite things done with like superheroes.
Sure.
Yeah, like Justice League War is like legitimately one of my favorite movies. But before that it was just like I'd seen them in theaters and like it's like okay. So yeah, I think it's Thor: The Dark World, and now I kind of like Bucky. Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of made me like him.
Yeah. See,
he can stand on his own 2 feet now. So like I like Bucky more.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the MCU is like there might be a story, you never know, that will uplift this season of What If, and I think that's like really cool. Like no matter what people, you know what I mean? Like it happened. Like it's happened before already.
Oh, to me, that's what Age of Ultron was. Where like after watching Endgame, it's like, wow, Age of Ultron was really just been the sleeper cell of the entire MCU.
I always liked Age of Ultron.
I never hated it.
Age of Ultron is a great movie. If you don't think it's good, you're lying.
Oh no, I've never disliked it, but I could see why some people found it weaker, especially when you look at the movies as a whole. But then when you see how it connects everything else and everything it sets up, it's like, no, you're good. Yeah. You can stay.
One of the most chilling scenes in the MCU is fucking James Spader singing "Got No Strings on Me" as he becomes old. That is legitimately terrifying.
Oh, remember the trailer for that?
Yes. And like when Wanda pulls his like heart, for lack of a better term, out, like that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. Also, where was Wanda this episode?
She died.
We didn't see it though.
What do you mean? We didn't see anyone die.
We saw Iron Man, Cap, Hulk, and Thor die.
I'm assuming
we saw all four. Sorry.
The nukes, or like maybe just this universe played out where she never got, recruited by Hydra and experimented on. She just was normal.
Well, no, she might have still been experimented on, but Ultron wouldn't have sought them out.
But he seeks them out before Thor jumps down on the body and takes it for themselves. That's a bad description of how that scene goes, but
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we see 4 of them die. We see an unconscious, like an either dead or unconscious Hulk, a dead Thor, a fucked up Captain America, and an almost dead Iron Man, and then everything blows up.
They were like,
So,
we
yes,
couldn't.
We see 4 characters die.
They were like, we can't kill off Iron Man again in this show.
We have literally seen the Avengers die like 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we will see you guys next week for the season finale of Marvel's What If. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Everyone's socials will be in the description down below, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.